Hi, everybody. Welcome to the 4th Animals in War and Peace Medal Ceremony. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces. We're just very grateful to have you all here. Yes, Yoda, you too. We'd like to open this night with a welcome video from Congressman Don Beyer. He's been one of our supporters since the very beginning, and he couldn't be here tonight, but he did want to send his welcome, and so we will start his video right now.
Good evening, and welcome to the 4th Annual Animals in War and Peace Medal Ceremony. My name is Don Beyer. I represent the 8th Congressional District of Virginia, and I am the proud dog dad of Otto Sternoff Beyer IV. I want to thank especially to Angels Without Wings, the Living Good Group, and the U.S. War Dogs Association for hosting tonight's ceremony and for including me to make a few remarks. Throughout history, countless animals have assisted our country's first responders and service members in their work to maintain safe communities by addressing foreign and domestic threats to peace. Tonight, 7 honorees have each sacrificed and demonstrated exceptionally meritorious service to their country in their respective roles as service animals, as first responders, and even within the ranks of the U.S. Armed Services. The outstanding work done by Cody, by Sonia, Bane, Endo, Axe, and Yoda, as well as the ultimate sacrifice made by Kit, were integral to the success of their missions and deserve our gratitude and recognition. I'd also like to take this time to profess my deepest appreciation to their handlers, their human handlers, for working with them to ensure that these animals were equipped with the skills necessary to execute the actions that they're being honored for tonight. So thank you for all of you for being here, for supporting these animals, for supporting their handlers, and the organizations that utilize their talents for the greater good.
Thank you. So I'm Robin Hutton, and I am the MC for this evening. I also have 2 other MCs, Mary Lou Livinggood from the Living Good Group and Chuck Rottenberry from U.S. War Dogs Association, that you'll hear from them in a moment. Angels Without Wings spearheaded the dedication of 6 national monuments to the Korean war horse Sergeant Reckless, and also one to MWD Luca. And they were all done by Jocelyn Russell, the artist, who's here tonight. She's one of our board members. We love honoring our animals in any way we can, and tonight with our 6 dogs here and 1 posthumous award, we're just very, very grateful to keep it all going. The Animals in War and Peace organization has been part of Angels Without Wings since 2018, and we're grateful to be here tonight for our 4th ceremony since 2019 to honor 7 incredible canine heroes. As I said, my co-hosts are here. They'll come up in a moment, but I wanted to say that this is our first ceremony where we have all canines, and tonight we honor 7 of them. Those who had no voice and no choice, but served so valiantly serving our country in war and peace. And it's in honoring them and remembering their stories that we pay tribute to the men and to the women that served so valiantly alongside of them. Tonight we will award 3 dogs with our Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal, and 4 with our Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery. 1 award will be posthumous, and all of the others are with us here tonight, which is really, really wonderful. They're either still in active service or retired from active duty, and we have our very first team that we're honoring tonight, which is really cool. But before we get to their stories, I'd like to once again introduce the Reverend Margaret Groon-Kibben, chaplain of the U.S. House of Representatives, and ask her to give the invocation. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Chaplain Margaret Groon-Kibben.
Good evening, and would you pray with me? Mm-hmm. Almighty God, all things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, Lord God, you made them all, and we give you thanks. But I and several people in this room give you special thanks that you did something special and created dogs. So we thank you for designing these faithful companions, that they would provide for us a profound testimony of what loyalty and compassion should look like. And as we honor these canine heroes today, Cody and Kit, Bane and Yoda, Sonia, Endo and Axe, And as we hear their incredible stories of their brave and courageous actions in both war and peace, remind us that they serve as an example not just of duty, but of devotion, not just of obligation, but gallantry, and not just service, but they are truly an example of selflessness. So with grateful hearts, we admire the bonds that have been forged between the dogs we honor and their valiant handlers, in that special connection that they share, their devotion and steadfast commitment to each other and to this country. May the rest of us see what is really vital to the challenges of war and peace, freedom and security. We ask your special blessing on each one of these animals today. And may their handlers at this moment put their hands on their heads, that the animals would know of the blessing that they are to them and the blessing that you give them through their handlers and all who surround them. As only you can do, speak into the hearts of these fine animals, that they might hear our gratitude for their sacrifice and service. In the strength of your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chaplain Kibben. It's always a joy to have you join us. We're very grateful for it. So right now, the young Marines were supposed to be here tonight to present the colors, but they're not here. So what I'd like to do is have everybody stand up, and there's a flag here, and we will say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Mary Lou Livingood, President of the Living Group here in Washington, D.C., and a nominating board member of Animals in War and Peace, to recognize our members of Congress supporting our efforts tonight. Mary Lou has been a partner with Animals in War and Peace since 2018 and is working closely with Congressman Gus Bilirakis and Congresswoman Julia Brownley's staffs in presenting our 2024 resolution that dropped in the House of Representatives today.
Thank you, Robin. Good evening. It's so great to see everybody here again. It's been a privilege and honor for the last 7 years to be involved in this. The Animals in War and Peace was actually started with support and encouragement from the late Senator John Warner of Virginia in 2018. Senator Warner's legacy continues to inspire us today to recognize our animals for their acts of resolute and fearless service to America's freedom and peace. It is my great honor to recognize two wonderful supporters, Congresswoman Brownley and Congressman Bilirakis. Congresswoman Brownley represents California's 26th district. Congressman Bilirakis represents Florida's 12th district. We are so grateful for their extraordinary support. As Robin mentioned, our House resolution was dropped yesterday, and we will have it posted on our website. We'll be spreading it hither and yon to make sure that more members of Congress will serve and support this House resolution to finally recognize these wonderful animals in the United States. So we are grateful for their support in this bipartisan resolution in the House and presenting the animals with their medals again this year. For those members, yeah, thank you. Yes. Thank you. The members of Congress that are joining us today to present the medals are Congressman Jamie Raskin, who's here yet again for the third time, and who's from Maryland, and Congressman Brian Stile, I don't think he's here yet, of Wisconsin. Congressman Mark Vesey of Texas will be here shortly, and Congressman Quigley of Illinois is here to join us again today, too. So thank you so much, and it is my pleasure to welcome Congressman Bilirakis and Congresswoman Julia Brownley.
So before you give your talks, I'm going to play the video of Endo and Axe really quickly so they know who you are talking about. Our first medal tonight is the Medal of Bravery of Endo and Axe, and they are from Volusia Sheriff's Office in Volusia, Florida. And we'll go ahead and play their video really quick. Yeah, buddy, it's you.
My name is Brett Whitson. I'm a senior deputy sheriff at the Volusia Sheriff's Office. Currently assigned to the Sheriff's Office Canine Unit. This is my retired canine partner, Canine Endo. Canine Endo is a German Shepherd that was trained in narcotics detection as well as criminal apprehension. So we were paired together in 2012, and he retired September 11th, 2021.
Deputy A.J. Davis with the Volusia Sheriff's Office Canine Unit. This is Canine Axe. He's a German Shepherd. He's trained in tracking and apprehension of any criminal felony suspects. He also does narcotics detection.
There's so many standout deployments that I had with Canine Endo. One particularly that stands out. November 4th of 2015, he was shot while apprehending an attempted murder suspect that had just shot his girlfriend and then shot at deputies prior to running. And that unfolded quick. So as I was getting out of the car, the guy turns, takes a couple shots at us, and then takes off running. So immediately I hit the back door, no leash, and sent Endo on the apprehension. And Endo made that apprehension in the woods, out of sight from me, but I heard the gunshots, and so I started calling Endo back. And he was reluctant, but he came back, and then he stopped in the woods, and he wanted to go back in, and I backed up against a big oak tree for cover, because there were still gunshots. And I turned my light on, looked at my hand, I saw my hand was covered in blood, and I knew that Endo had been shot. He surprised me that he had taken some bullets, stayed on the bite, and came back to me and still wanted to go. At that time, he was shot at the base of his skull, and it came out kind of behind his ear, in the back of his neck. And that was a relatively quick recovery. So the night of September 11th, 2021, there was a carjacking that occurred in Deltona, where a suspect had fled after the carjacking. He was later spotted, and he fled from deputies on foot. And Deputy Davis was working that area with his new canine partner, Axe, at the time. I wasn't too far away, and I told Deputy Davis on the radio, I was like, I'll be there in just a minute, just give me a couple minutes, and I'll go with you. Because essentially it was open and shut. We had the guy on FLIR, the helicopter had spotted him, and it turned into something much more.
I responded to the area, being a new handler at the time. I'm really gung-ho, wanting to prove the dog can track and he can apprehend, and this was a bad guy. So I got on scene and put the dog on the lead, and so we deployed the dog from the roadway. He goes in. Our air support was kind of leading us to him, and as I was giving him lead to go in there, it kind of went tight, and then that's when we heard one gunshot followed by another. And at that point, I was just pulling him back. We didn't know where it was coming from. We had an idea of the area, but we couldn't see anything. I just wanted to get him back to safety. So I got Axe back to me, and immediately I saw him bleeding from his face. I thought it was his mouth. It was just running. So I loaded him up as fast as I could and just exfilled him out to I didn't know where I was going. I just was getting out of there to somewhere that people could take care of him. One of the longest rides ever, especially as fast as I was going. And when I got there, it was such a big relief, especially opening the back of the door and seeing how much blood was in there and stuff. I just knew he was in good hands at that point.
So we had called in more resources. We had called in SWAT. In my mind, I knew that, if Canine Endo was to go in, it'd probably end in his death. And that's the last thing I wanted. However, Canine Endo would be the only thing to stand between this guy and freedom if he chose to run. And ultimately, that's what he did. He found a weak spot in the perimeter, and he made a run for it. So Canine Endo was sent to apprehend him. And that was probably the longest 20 seconds of my life. So I saw Endo leave out of sight, go through some bushes, and I heard the gunshots.
Dog's loose, dog's loose.
And when I made it through the bushes and saw him in the back of this plaza in the parking lot, Endo had him on the ground. He had caught him, bit him, knocked him down, and was giving him the business. He was He was unfazed by the gunshots. So at that time, we believe he had been shot in the face. So he took a round to his jaw, and ultimately his paw was shot also. I saw Canine Endo get hit. He came off for a brief second, then went back to the bite and remained on the bite till I got him off.
I've never, had to go through a dog being shot. The bullet was in his stomach. They had to open up his stomach to get it out. But he essentially was ready to go in 3 weeks. Since the incident, it's kind of like we both grown and we both realized, all right, this is what we're here to do. My confidence in him is way beyond what I could imagine. You never know when you get a dog. You're kind of hoping he'll do good and track good and apprehend good and all these things. Now I know it. When he gets there, okay, there's a good chance if this guy can be caught, he's going to be caught.
I mean, he made me look way better than I really am. There was times when I would come on scene and say, this guy's not catchable. He's gone. And then Endo would say, follow me. We'll get him. And he would get him.
Canine Endo and Canine Axe were both awarded a Purple Heart for their injuries. This was Endo's second one. Endo retired after this shooting, but Canine Axe still continues to serve today. We are so very proud to honor our first team, Canine Endo and Canine Axe, with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 19. Congratulations to you both for your distinguished and heroic service with the Volusia Sheriff's Department. So I'd like to call up Brett Whitson, Deputy Brett Whitson with Endo, and A.J. Davis with, and why don't you stand over, a little bit there. And we'll hear from the Congressman Brownlee and Congressman Bilirakis to present the medals.
Well, thank you very, very much, and it's a great honor to be here to be able to celebrate a very special occasion in recognizing the service of our military and law enforcement animals. This event has become a time-honored tradition on Capitol Hill over the last several years, and this program would not be possible without the hard work of what I call the dynamic duo of Mary Lou and Robin. So I want to thank you for your unwavering commitment to recognizing these remarkable service animals and for crediting these animals, big and small, furry and feathered, and highlighting the contributions they have made to our nation's armed forces and law enforcement operations. Throughout our history, highly trained animals, including dogs, horses, and birds, have been on numerous front lines. Like their handlers and the men and women in uniform they serve with, these animals have risked their lives to save the lives of others. From being shot at on city streets while apprehending a subject, to flying through dangerous war zones, to deliver key intelligence and logistics on specific operations, these animals are nothing short of extraordinary. They bravely defend our nation and protect our democracy. Today, I am proud to add another courageous animal to this remarkable list of distinguished warriors. Axe and his handler, Deputy A.J. Fox, from the Volusia Sheriff's Office Canine Unit in Delane, Florida, are trained in narcotics detection and apprehending criminal suspects. Not only is Axe a beautiful German Shepherd, but he has keen instincts, he's very agile, and extremely smart. Along with Deputy Davis, he has responded to calls while on duty and is a true companion in apprehending the bad guys. And like all law enforcement personnel, there's always a danger to the job, and Axe is no stranger to that danger. As it has been noted, he suffered a gunshot wound to the stomach, which was not only traumatic for this canine, but for his handler as well. Fortunately, Axe is as resilient as he is brave, and he was back on the job and apprehending bad guys in 3 weeks. For his distinguished acts of bravery, Axe was awarded the Purple Heart, and today I am proud to award Axe with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery. Thank you again for this opportunity, and please join me in congratulating Axe, our favorite dog today.
You want to take it out and put it around his neck? Yeah, I can hold that for you. Can she do it? Okay? Yeah? Awesome, Axe. Good boy. Oh my gosh. That's beautiful. Awesome. Congressman Bill Rackett, say a few words?
Good evening. I'm Gus Bilorakis, and I represent Florida's 12th Congressional District, and I happen to know where Volusia County is, because I'm from Florida, and just in case you don't know, everyone knows about Daytona Beach. You probably went there for spring break. Folks, I do want to say that Julia does an outstanding job in Congress. We've worked together on several issues with regard to our true American heroes, our veterans, and I know how much she loves her veterans and active duty personnel, but also to our animals, and I do too. It is a pleasure to be here to honor the achievements of these canine heroes, and they are heroes. Too often we solely focus on the service and sacrifice of our nation's veterans, and we should, and first responders, and we should, but sometimes we forget that we should recognize the critical contributions provided by the heroes on the other end of the leash. And that's what we're doing here this evening. I've been a long-time advocate of recognizing the contributions animals make in our lives, and have the honor of being the co-chair of the Congressional Caucus for the Humane Bond. Oh, that was great timing. And the Congressional Caucus for the Humane Bond is a bipartisan group that was created to celebrate and highlight the importance of the vital, often life-saving, truly life-saving bond between people and animals. I wish we had them up here more. I know we have dogs in the offices, but we would get along a lot better if each member of Congress had an animal, more than likely a dog. Anyway, we've got to work on that, Julia. I applaud Animals in War and Peace for putting the spotlight on these heroes to recognize the remarkable achievements, and I'm the proud co-lead, along with Representative Brownlee, of the Animals in War Peace Resolution, which would recognize the contributions these service animals and their handlers have made in both war and peace. But today it's not about me, it's not about members of Congress, it's about honoring these heroes and their handlers. You are truly heroes as well, and we should honor you every single day. But today, I have the honor to present Endo, the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery. As you are able to see, Canine Endo is the true embodiment of a hero, always running towards the fight, and that's the definition of the hero. Endo consistently proved himself in the field, and how. The harrowing experiences recollected show Endo's unparalleled courage, loyalty, and commitment to the mission. Endo's service and sacrifice undeniably made his community safer. I thank him for his service. I cannot think of a canine more deserving of this wonderful award. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Endo, and your handler.
You guys want to come up to say a few words?
I drew the short straw, so I'll be the one speaking on behalf of the Sheriff's Office tonight in Volusia County. First of all, I wanted to thank everybody involved in this, the Angels of War and Peace, Robin Hutton, Marshall Morocco, and these dogs that are always ready to show what they got. So there's a reason that we all grew up reading about Old Yeller or White Fang. And not Garfield. I haven't seen a cat on the award list yet, so I'm not to say that there won't be, but I just want to say thank you for everybody. It shows that the love for a dog, 'cause everybody that came up, they like us okay, but they love the dogs, and so do we. And they've definitely kept us safe. And I know that just hearing the stories from some of the other handlers here, that they're all very deserving, and I'm humbled to have been selected, so thank you.
Come here. No, it's fine. I thought it was just going to be Brett having to say something, but I just want to echo what he was saying. It's a big honor for us. I mean, there's a lot of these canine handlers all over the world, everything that do amazing stuff, and we're pretty blessed that we get recognized. And we just want to thank everybody for coming out, supporting us. It really is, it's such a big deal for us and what these dogs do day in and day out. Brett said something in our video that I kind of take all the time is they make us look good. I mean, we're just at the end we're a team, but these dogs end up making us look good. So they deserve all the credit, and we appreciate, everyone coming out here and supporting us and recognizing us for this medal. Thank you.
Thank you, AJ and Brett Whitson with Endo and Axe. I mean, that's just a wonderful way to start off the evening. The next one we're going to do is Canine Cody. Cody is receiving our Distinguished Service Medal, and she is from Cartersville, Virginia. She served with the United States Embassy in Baghdad, and now is still on active duty with American Canine Interdiction. Here is her wonderful story.
This is Canine Cody. My name is James Overton. Cody and I have been together since about 2015. She's a German Shepherd Belgian Malinois mix. She's almost 13 years old. She's been doing this for quite a while. Cody is trained on explosives and firearms detection. She originally worked for the U.S. Embassy for the State Department over in Iraq, and she did that for about 2 years prior to her getting transferred back to Minnesota, where she was working at the Mall of America in Minnesota Viking Stadium. And then after that, she ended up getting transferred to me, and Cody and I became partners in 2015. And since 2015, we really haven't slowed down, even to this day. We've done stuff for Busch Gardens, we've done stuff for SeaWorld, Six Flags, we've done stuff for the NBA All-Stars, NFL. At the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium, we've done a Taylor Swift concert, which was pretty intense. The Swifties are a whole different level, but she's been such a phenomenal partner. Her drive for work is just incredible, you know. And she's coming up on 13 now, and that drive to work is still there. The company I work for now, American Canine Interdiction, one of the big things that we focus on is training. And a lot of times we'll end up using Cody as an example of how to run a canine, and what, you know, sort of what other new handlers can strive for with a canine. I've actually learned quite a bit about what it is to be a canine handler from Cody. And the crazy thing is that even at 13, she's just as sharp, if not sharper, than the new canines that are out there. Here recently, in the last year, with some of the contracts that we have in the schools, we have a contract with the local schools to bring the dogs in to look for firearms and narcotics. It's called the School Canine Safety Initiative, and that's something that we've been working on for the last couple of years. But we deploy in the schools probably 4 to 5 times a week. But we've been working in the schools now in Virginia for about 3 years. And Cody, she's trained to find the odor of explosives and firearms as well. And here recently, she was able to locate a firearm in the trunk of a student's vehicle. You know, although that's not a happy ending, it kind of is, because, you know, there's no telling what we were able to prevent with that. And you know, she was able to detect the odor of that firearm from outside the vehicle, and it's just, you know, it just blows my mind that still at the age of 13, she's still just as sharp, you know, as she was. One thing that's unique with Cody versus some of the other canines out there is Cody's trained to find that target odor on people as they're carrying it. So if somebody were to try to sneak a firearm in, whether it's in their bag or inside their waistband or something like that, Cody's going to be able to recognize that odor and alert us to the presence of that. But with her, she's just such a unique canine. She's so incredibly social, and she's so incredibly friendly, and she really, really loves the kids. You know, a lot of people ask me, like, hey, she's 13 years old, when is she going to retire? And my response to everybody is, you know, she'll tell me when she's ready to retire. When she doesn't get as excited as my younger partner to come out here, you know, then I know that that's time for her to stay home. But I let her keep working as long as she wants to work. She's really just kind of made my job really, really easy. I always refer to myself as the dumb end of the leash, and with Cody, it's just it really is the case. But you know, we keep pushing hard and keep trying to keep the kids safe in the schools and the other places we work. And it's just it's something that her and I love to do. I appreciate you guys coming out today and recognizing her for the amazing work that she's doing. You know, I couldn't ask for a better partner with Cody.
Canine Cody began working shortly after training at 18 months of age. She accumulated over 4,000 hours of explosive detection operations in Iraq and over 3,000 hours of explosive detection operations in Minnesota. After her final transfer to the eastern United States, she added more than 5,000 hours of explosive detection operations. We are so very proud to award Canine Cody with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal No. 5. Congratulations, Cody, for your hard work and distinguished service, especially keeping our children safe at school with American Canine Interdiction.
So James, I'd like to introduce Canine Cody and James Overton to the front, and Congressman Michael Quigley, who will say a few words and then present the medal.
Thank you. Good evening. It is an honor to be with you and present this Distinguished Service Medal to Canine Cody. Let me first thank Animals in War and Peace for inviting me to be part of the 4th annual medal ceremony to recognize the hard and dangerous work of the U.S. service animals and their handlers. As a proud animal lover with several dogs of our own in our family, which, as you all know, are family, it adds to this. And if you ever need dogs to search for pork chops, hidden pork chops, my dogs could do that. They couldn't do what your wonderful dog does. But our friends are our best friend and deserve to be treated with this respect and love. Cody and James perfectly capture that unique bond. Their work together is responsible for keeping countless lives out of harm's way and keeping people safe. It is amazing. At 13, Cody, you look awesome. You're still showing the other dogs how it's done. We often talk about sacrifices of our service members and law enforcement that make us safe, and Cody's right there with them. Because of her and James, so many people and communities have been kept safe. Thank you to you, James and Cody, for your selfless work and commitment to service. You deserve all the awards and treats you can possibly get. So it's my honor to present this Distinguished Service Medal to our friend and hero, Canine Cody.
Oh, good girl. James, want to say a few words?
All right, can everybody hear me okay? All right, awesome. First, I want to thank the Lord above for giving me the opportunity to have probably the best job in the entire world, and for giving me a partner like Cody. Next, I want to thank my wife, Jessica, mainly for tolerating all the enormous amount of dog hair that is at our house, and the undisclosed number of additional canines I may or may not have at the house as well. But honestly, just for her support, putting up with the trips to DC, the hours of training, and everything that goes along with, especially the newest dog thing that canine guys have to have, all the newest dog stuff. Thank you for putting up with me with that. I appreciate that. Thanks to Robin and your crew here. You guys are doing awesome work, recognizing these guys with all they do. I want to give a big shout out to Dr. Ganzert and the My American Humane family. For those who aren't familiar with Canine Cody, she won the 2020 Hero Dog Awards for American Humane for the law enforcement. I'm her publicist. I'm not her actual handler. But no, just thanks for all the work that they're doing as well. Aiken and I for helping foster the dream I have of being canine, helping me grow as a handler. But last but not least is my girl Cody here. She really makes my job easy. I always refer to us as the dumb end of the leash, and it's so true. But just the work that her and I are doing, from the NBA, the NFL stuff, the Taylor Swift concerts, Busch Gardens, but our most important work, I feel, is just the stuff we're doing with the schools, keeping our kids safe in schools, and she's been doing phenomenal work there as well. It's just such an honor for her to get this recognition. She's not doing it for the work, for the honor, she's doing it for the ball, and that's all she lives for. So I appreciate all you guys coming out and for all the support. Thanks so much.
Thank you, James. Thank you, Cody. And if you're missing a dog after this, you can probably find it in my room because she's going home with me. All right, so our next Distinguished Service Medal is going to go to Canine Bain.
My name is Detective Holly McManus, and this is Canine Bain, and we are partners with the St. Francis Police Department for almost 7 years. We became partners. He came home with me in March of 2014, and he retired in November of 2020. We started on third shift patrol together back in 2014. Over the course of his career, we did hundreds of calls together. We were one of the only teams on third shift in the Milwaukee County area, and we were on the streets on third shift for the city of St. Francis for about 5 years before we were both promoted to the Bureau. Canine Bain is 100% purebred German Shepherd, 100% purebred butthead. He is trained as what we call a dual purpose. He's a narcotic tracking, apprehension, handler protection canine. So when I say 100% butthead, I mean it, because when I first got Canine Bain, he was probably, by terms of law enforcement canines, one of the most difficult canines that I think any handler could ever get. I think his stubbornness is what made him the best asset to the team, because he never gave up. And with a lot of training, trust, and hard work, we made this dog into one of the best canines I think that's ever worked the streets. In 2017, we were deputized and brought on as task force members for the FBI Milwaukee SWAT team. Essentially what they like to call a force multiplier. And we served in that capacity for almost 3 years, serving 36 high-risk missions with the team and taking a lot of bad guys into custody. On a cold day in 2017, Canine Bain and I were assigned to support the FBI SWAT team on the north side of Milwaukee for a high-risk arrest warrant. The offender was wanted on federal parole violations for trafficking narcotics and weapons. And we knew that this was going to be a very dangerous mission. We pull up to the house. The Bearcat breached the front door, which was fortified with 2x4s. We made numerous calls to him to come out. The team on the B side of the residence had called that they had contact with somebody. So Canine Bain and I made our way over there, and a man who we quickly identified as our target kept sticking his head out of the doorway and saying that he wasn't coming out and that we needed to come in and get him. Well, knowing his history and how dangerous this mission was, that wasn't going to be an option. And even without needing to tell him, Bain keyed up on this man and brought all of his teeth out. His jaws were all the way out, his lips were all the way back around his teeth, and I could see every one of his teeth inside of his mouth. He never made a bark, but the growl was so loud that the guy could hear him inside of the doorway. We never saw the guy's hands, so what we didn't know was that he was concealing a handgun in his hand while he stood in the doorway and talked to us, and he kept saying, "Come in and get me, come in and get me." And finally I yelled to him, I said, "The only one coming in to get you is the dog." And he didn't like that, so he ended up getting down on his hands and knees and crawling to us. Once we had the house cleared and the team came in to search and secure evidence, we learned that the offender, while he was standing in the doorway, not only had a loaded handgun, but he also had an SKS rifle ready to go with 4 loaded magazines. He was ready for a war with the police. He just didn't know we would have Bain with us. Bain truly was a force multiplier that day. And I know in my heart that there are a lot of times I went home or my guys went home safe because he was there. And I truly believe that even though he was unique and he could be the biggest butthead, still is the biggest butthead, I know that I am one of the luckiest handlers on the planet to have him as my partner.
Canine Bain was the very first canine officer for the St. Francis Police Department. During his 7 years of service, Canine Bain and Detective McManus logged 560 calls for service together. Bain assisted in the arrest of 220 offenders and participated in over 50 high-risk warrants with 2 different SWAT teams. In 2023, a beautiful bronze monument of Canine Bain by artist Kristen Douglas Seitz was dedicated at the St. Francis Police Department to honor his and future canine service to their community. And today, we are so incredibly proud to award Canine Bain with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal number 6. Congratulations, Bain, for your distinguished service with the St. Francis Police Department and FBI Milwaukee SWAT.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, up front is Detective Holly McManus and Canine Bain. Additionally, here in the room, the artist of the beautiful monument for Canine Bain by Kristen Douglas Seitz. She's here tonight, too, as one of our latest board members. She's over by working all the videos here for us. On June 6, 2022, Bain was diagnosed with degenerative myelopathy, a paralyzing neurological disease similar to ALS in humans. His prognosis was 6 months, but almost 2 years later, Bain continues to fight every day and raise awareness of this debilitating disease and helps other working canines through the Canine Bain Hero Foundation. We are so incredibly proud and pleased that he made this trip tonight. It's just amazing. And we'd also like to welcome Congressman Brian Stile, Canine Bain's member of Congress in Milwaukee, and he'll say a few words and present the medal. Thank you, Congressman Stile.
Detective McManus with the St. Francis Police Department really exemplified the bravery that every man and woman in law enforcement exemplifies every day that they wake up, put the badge over their heart, walk out the door knowing that they're going to answer the call, but not knowing what the call is going to be. Today we get an opportunity to recognize Officer Bain and the canines that assist in that work. It's the bravery of the dog that's willing to go into the door and apprehend the bad guys and come out. But it's also a loyalty between the officer and the dog. The dog, through the loyalty to Detective McManus and others, is willing to do that work, but also the loyalty of the handlers to be able to take care of the dog. And when we were talking earlier with Detective McManus, she said following dozens of SWAT raids and over 200 credited apprehensions, every time she would take Canine Bain to McDonald's and get an Egg McMuffin meal, and Canine Bain would have the hash browns. And so maybe Canine Bain was doing some of the work for the hash browns, maybe for the loyalty, but unquestionably, Canine Bain had the bravery that we see in so many of our service animals to be able to assist our law enforcement officers to carry out their job. And so it's an honor to be able to present the 2024 Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal to Canine Bain.
Thank you, Congressman Stile. Holly, would you like to say a few words?
Sure. Oh, geez. See, now I broke it. And if you ask the guys that I work with, they would say that Holly definitely wants to say a few words. But thank you so much. This is incredible. I haven't ugly cried yet. We did a ceremony in December back at my police department in Wisconsin because he was not supposed to be here. Again and again, I've said he's not supposed to be here, but as these canine handlers know that are sitting here, these dogs stay here because of us. Bain is here because he knew we had one final mission. He knew he had to come to D.C. I am so blessed to be here. Thank you so much to Robin and the Animals in War and Peace and Kristen for memorializing my boy in bronze outside of our police department. My friends, my family, my administration, the FBI SWAT team, which was like the coolest team I ever got to work with. Those guys really know how to shake things up. And to the man that's standing next to Robin, he doesn't get enough credit. It's my fiance, Jason, the father of my children, and Bain's dad. He's always stood beside me and recognized the intensive work that it requires to be a canine handler. And thank you to my best friend. See, I'm gonna cry now. I don't wanna cry. But thank you to my best friend, and he looks like he's okay, I promise. He's my grumpy old man. He's a butthead. They're all buttheads, right? I mean, really, ultimately they are. But being a canine handler is the best job on the planet, no doubt. So thank you again, and I'm so blessed to be honored among heroes today. So thank you.
Thank you, Holly. Thank you, Bain. God bless you. Oh my gosh. We actually awarded a temporary medal to him in December 13th because we didn't expect him to live till the end of the new year. And here he is today just to receive it. And I'm gonna cry. So anyway, our next medal tonight, it's Kit and Yoda. Okay, so we're gonna do it that way. Okie doke. So our next medal is a posthumous one. This is going to be Canine Kit 823K, and this is the story of Kit.
Doing this job, becomes your life.
People have no idea how smart these dogs are and what they're willing to do for their handlers. You're spending more time with these dogs than you are your family. They're with you 24/7. Everything they do,
they do in furtherance of their mission. So anything that we do for them is in furtherance of their mission.
They're right at the most dangerous job that we have. That position is at the front of every bad situation that we're looking at.
When you get these calls, unless it's a missing child or senior, it's usually somebody who did a violent act, and now you're going to find them. And they have many times, and it's been, they were highly successful, but there's also times like this where it ends up kids been shot and killed, and officers are injured.
Kit was the first one to encounter the bad guy. Had Kit not been there would have been nothing in between the bad guy, his firearm, the rounds that went downrange, and the officers that were with Kit. Kit was struck multiple times. Those bullets would have landed somewhere. They did not.
This dog gave its all and sacrificed everything for his handler and reacted the way that you're trained to do. And, by the grace of God, the two officers didn't get fatally wounded. They're significantly injured, but the dog did. And it breaks your heart because, the dog's doing everything it can to please its handler, and they train relentlessly. And you feel blessed.
He saved the lives of 3 human officers. There's no doubt in my mind.
If he was going to pick a way to go out, it was saving his guys. That's what he did.
That dog, I've said this the last, I don't know how many years, is a true warrior, a warrior. I've been doing this 28 years. I probably will never see a dog like that again.
Order! Out!
My name is William Cushing, canine handler for the town of Braintree, Massachusetts Police Department. 2011, I was paired up with my canine partner, Kit, who was an 85-pound Belgian Malinois. Kit specialized in tracking and apprehension and was also a certified SWAT canine. Since day one, Kit made it pretty obvious that it was him and I against the world just by the way he acted. The bond was instantaneous between the two of us, and I just got the 1 in a million dog. On June 4th, 2021, my phone rang. It was the dispatcher and from work, and he said, "Can you and Kit come into work? We need to find this guy that's wanted for domestic assault." The dispatcher said he's definitely armed with 1 firearm. As soon as we get a little closer, he has a 2nd firearm. So the call went from like a 3 to a 10 pretty quick. I requested 2 backup officers to accompany me on the canine track. I start air scenting Kit along this wood line, and then Kit immediately goes all in on this wood line, and he's pulling like crazy into the wood line. So I knew this was where the guy was based on his behavior, I could tell. So as we navigate a couple hundred yards into this thick vegetation, Kit makes contact with the suspect. As soon as he makes contact with the suspect, I see him pull out he has a semi-automatic firearm, and he fires 3 quick rounds, basically contact shots right into Kit. So Kit falls back towards me, and then it's just me and this dude pointing guns at each other, and it was who's gonna shoot faster now. I didn't even know I was hit at first until I tried to reload. When I looked down at my left arm, and it looked like my left arm was blown off. So I was pretty much losing all function because I was losing so much blood, and at the time now the suspect's down, and I'm losing consciousness, and luckily I had the right guys with me that were able to apply medical aid to me, and they placed a tourniquet on my left arm and saved me from bleeding out that day. I can honestly say that day, if we did not have Kit, we would have walked right over that guy, and you probably would have had 3 dead cops that day. So luckily, Kit did what he was trained to do, and got us home to our families. And I know without him that I wouldn't be here today.
Officer Cushing was shot 5 times during this encounter, 2 in his chest, 1 in his side, and 2 in his left arm. Officer Donahue was also hit in his left arm. Without Kit's sacrifice, it would have been much, much worse. On October 19, 2023,
the town of Braintree unveiled a beautiful bronze monument of Kit to honor his service and sacrifice. 5 children came up with the idea to create the monument in Kit's honor, and they raised the money by selling lemonade. We are very proud to award Canine Kit with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 17. Thank you, Kit, for your incredible devotion, service, and sacrifice with the Braintree, Massachusetts Police Department.
Thank you. This is William Cushing, Kit's handler, and Congressman Jamie Raskin, who will say a few words and present the medal.
Wow, that was extraordinarily powerful, and it's an honor to get to participate in a celebration of the heroism and the contribution and the sacrifice of these remarkable dogs, but also the same of these remarkable officers. And I want to thank all 9 of the officers who came down from Braintree, Massachusetts, to be with us today. We depend on these dogs, and they perform remarkable feats for us, but too often we don't get to recognize it. So I'm delighted that we get to make these awards, in this case a posthumous award, but I'm also an original co-sponsor of the Animals in War and Peace resolution, led by Representatives Brownlee and Bilirakis, which will recognize the contributions and the sacrifice of these animals in the armed forces and working for our police departments. So it's my honor to present the posthumous award to Canine Kit, and I have the honor to deliver the award to Braintree Police Officer Bill Cushing, and we can give that to you now.
Beautiful.
And I have one other bit of business because apparently one of my colleagues couldn't make it, and so I'm also delighted to be the conveyor of the Medal of Bravery medal to Yoda and his handler, Pat Berlin, as well. And I think we'll show the video after.
No.
I've got to get back to the floor
wait.
to go vote. The great thing about these dogs, I realized, is they don't belong to a political party, and they don't have to go vote either. So, congratulations.
So, hold on to the medal for a second, because I'd like to have Billy Cushing say a few words first before we present the medal to Yoda.
I'll just be quick. I'm honored to be here. Robin, thank you. Animals in War and Peace, thank you. Thanks to my guys in the back for being here for me. And like I said in the video, if it wasn't for Kit, I wouldn't be standing here today. And yeah, it's nice to get the word out what these dogs actually do, because they are smarter than normal people know they are. And again, thanks for being here, and glad to be in the company of all you men and women. So thank you. Thank you, Robin.
So Congressman Raskin's on a tight time schedule, so we'll present the medal and then we'll play the video of Yoda's story. Yeah. Put it on. Oh, look at that. Thank you, Congressman Raskin. Patty, why don't you sit down, we'll play your video, then we'll call you back up and you can say your remarks. So we're going to go to the last. Look at you. That's awesome. Good job. Next slide this is Yoda's story.
During the patrol, I recognized a very distinct voice from my teammate yelling, "Police, show me your hands." At that moment, I decided to deploy Yoda. I'm Border Patrol Agent Patrick Berlin, and I'm a member of the U.S. Border Patrol Tactical Unit, or BORTAC. I'm assigned to the Detroit Sector Special Operations Detachment. This is my canine partner, Yoda. He's a Belgian Malinois. He was born in the Netherlands in 2019. We became a certified canine team in May of 2022. Ever since we got paired up, this dog teaches me things every day. He's become such a loyal partner, and he really does mean everything to me. I spend more time with this dog than my wife and my kids, my teammates, my friends and family. We travel all across the country for training and operations. So a typical day with Yoda and I is training. Everything's based around training. We usually start our day with some sort of physical fitness. We'll do some obedience. Then we'll round actual work type searches, so building searches, article searches, and obviously a lot of bite work, physical apprehensions. Out of all the missions we've completed together, nothing stands out more than the recent manhunt in Chester County, Pennsylvania. That mission was to locate and apprehend Danilo Cavalcante. Cavalcante was illegally present in the United States, and he was wanted in Brazil, his native country, for a double homicide back in 2017. Additionally, he was serving a life sentence in Chester County Jail for the 2021 murder of his girlfriend, Deborah Brandow. And so the final morning, very early hours, a DE aircraft with thermal technology was able to locate a heat signature within the search area. Around daybreak, Yoda and myself, along with the rest of my team from Detroit and a team from Buffalo, BORTAC teams as well, were able to patrol into the woods. And the plan from there was we were going to link up with the SOG team already in place and make one final push with all the resources that we had available to us to locate the subject at that time. During that final patrol, I heard a loud voice from behind me. I immediately recognized that as one of my teammates from Detroit, and he was yelling, "Police, show me your hands." Right then I turned and I observed my teammate trying to maintain control of the subject as he crawled through the brush with his hands concealed beneath his body. And it was at that time that I decided to deploy Yoda. And Yoda was able to navigate the brush and the dense terrain. He was even able to navigate through some of our teammates to locate the subject. And the first sight picture he had was Cavalcante's head. So at first he bit Cavalcante's head, and then from there he was unable to maintain a grip. From there, I issued an additional apprehension command, which then Yoda was able to secure the subject with a full mouth bite on his thigh. At that point, Cavalcante removed his left hand and began to punch Yoda in the face and tried to pry him off of him. And then that gave our teammates enough time to put both his hands in the handcuffs, and were able to secure the subject at that time. I was able to remove Yoda from the bite at that moment once the subject was secure, and we observed the stolen rifle within a foot of him, right next to him there. The conclusion of this mission was a huge relief, not only for myself and Yoda, but a big sense of relief for the surrounding community. This guy has been armed and dangerous. Murderer has been freely roaming through their community for quite some time now, so they're able to continue life as it was before. Receiving the Medal of Bravery on behalf of Yoda is a tremendous honor. This whole experience since this manhunt has been extremely surreal. To even be mentioned in the same category as some of these other hero dogs who've received this award, like Cairo and Hurricane, is just, wow, it's been a very cool experience. Thank you, Yoda.
Canine Yoda is generally utilized in high-risk operations that are tense, uncertain, and rapidly evolving. Since May of 2022, he has served on 24 high-risk operations alongside his BORTAC team. These operations have yielded seizures of a significant amount of illicit narcotics, over $850,000 in U.S. currency, 58 firearms, and led to 39 arrests. We are very proud to award Canine Yoda with the Animals in War and Peace Medal of Bravery number 18. Congratulations, Yoda, for your steadfast dedication and service with the Detroit Sector Special Operations Detachment, United States Border Patrol Tactical Unit.
First, apologize for Yoda being cranky this evening. Yeah, wow, what an honor it is to accept this award on behalf of my partner Yoda here. I mean, if you would have told me just a few months ago while we were patrolling through the forest outside Philadelphia that I'd be standing here with you guys today, I'd probably call you all crazy. So we operate in a team environment. No one individual can be successful. It truly does take a team effort. And within our team, each member takes ownership over a small portion. Then collectively, we can take on anything. I'd like to thank both my team from the Detroit Sector Special Operations Attachment, as well as the Buffalo Sector Special Operations Attachment. Long hours through the heat, humidity, dense terrain, our two teams worked closely together over the course of those 2 weeks. It was the efforts of these men that were able to bring that operation to the best law enforcement conclusion possible. And like everything in our teams, things are shared. Things like this award. So this award is also shared with my teammates, these guys in the back. You guys stand up. Thank you. I'd also like to thank our national team at Special Operations Group Headquarters in El Paso, Texas. Without them, we would not have had round-the-clock coverage over this operation. Their response was integral to our success. I'd also like to thank the Pennsylvania State Police. They had the most impressive uniform presence I've ever experienced in my time in law enforcement. Their hard work and diligence on the front lines, from maintaining perimeters and assets to the investigators and analysts behind the scenes answering phone calls and following up on leads, their hard work and efforts allowed us to be in the right place at the right time to do what we do best. Next thank you goes out to our families. Sometimes we have to pack up and leave at a moment's notice with travel across the country with no timeline on when we're coming back, and that places a ton of stress on our significant others. It's their hard work and dedication that allow us to focus on the mission at hand and not have to worry about how things back home are going, knowing that it's in their hands. They are truly the behind-the-scenes warriors. So I'd like to thank our wives, especially Yoda's mom, my wife Elaine, who's here today. So thank you guys.
Woo!
Lastly, I'd like to thank my partner, Yoda, here. I was lucky to get paired up with this dog. I mean, he truly is amazing. He teaches me things almost every day, even if he's a pain sometimes, like you guys saw tonight, right? First example. Yeah, it was great to see, all those long hours, all the extra repetitions in training, all the other missions we've gone on, and the day-to-day grind all come to fruition with the successful conclusion of this manhunt. It really was rewarding. And as I said earlier, this is a team effort, and Yoda is part of our team. And that morning, he owned his small portion of it and executed it flawlessly. And without a doubt in my mind, I know that Yoda's quick actions changed that subject's mindset and took the fight out of him. That gave us the time we needed to bring the manhunt to an end and allowed us all to safely go home to our families. So thank you, Yoda. You know you're sleeping now.
Woo!
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Patty Berlin. And thank you, Yoda. That's just amazing. Just amazing what you guys did. All right. Canine Sonia is our next Distinguished Service Medalist. She's from the United States Coast Guard, so let's watch her story.
Hey everyone, good afternoon. I am Chief James Grant in the U.S. Coast Guard. This is retired explosive detection canine Sonia, which is currently filling a position in Coast Guard Recruiting Command as the very first canine. Sonia's breed is a Belgian Malinois from the Netherlands. She came here when she was about a year and a half old and was selected to join Lackland Air Force Base TSA program. Sonia's primary job in the Coast Guard is to detect and deter acts of terrorism on and around U.S. soil. Therefore, she was selected to be one of 18 canines during her time of service. Currently, Sonia has served explosive detection capability detection for the past 9 years and just recently retired from explosive detection in 2023, and now is working alongside me every day, coming to Recruiting Office Dallas and meeting people coming into the front doors. We've been working together since 2014. Some of the works that me and Sonia did together was deterrent acts of terrorism on U.S. soil that consisted of in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, Seattle area. That was a ferry detection. And in between our random security patrols, we were tasked out with other outside agencies to assist them with explosive detection for crime scene evidence, bomb threats in the neighborhoods, and dignitary and VP visits. Some of the most notable things that we did up in Seattle was, presidential sweeps, met a couple presidents, and been able to be used in crime scene evidence for a high-speed pursuit that involved multiple homicides in the area. Me and Sonia searched on foot about 2 to 3 square blocks, and upon nearing the end of our search, when everyone thought that there was nothing there, Sonia encountered the change of behavior and led me to what was recently a firearm that was just recently shot the night prior. ATF was able to pull up the fingerprints on the firearm and was able to lock up the individual that was committing crime and homicides in the area. From there, we just hopped out on a lot of just local bomb threats with big facilities assisting FBI, ATF, being a force multiplier in that capacity. In 2018, myself, Sonia, family transitioned from Maritime Safety Security Team to MSRT West, which is a counterterrorism unit. So that involved us doing a lot of helicopter deployments, shipboard training, and detection on board all sizes and shapes of vessels, and just kind of pushing the envelope on getting her comfortable with high angle hoist and deliveries on board moving vessels and training on board moving vessels. During that time, Canine Sonia and myself also assisted with multiple high-level national events to include Las Vegas, Ball Drop, a few Super Bowls out in Los Angeles, Arizona, and Texas, and then following up with U.S. track and field trials, and then just recently the World Trials Athletics. Just recently, Canine Sonia just got diagnosed with an aggressive form of cancer, and during this transition from explosive detection, she was able to get selected and picked up to become the first canine recruiter to join our recruiting command. The Distinguished Service Medal for Sonia means to me and the Coast Guard is that she's being recognized for her devotion to duty for the past 11 years of detecting explosives in and around the United States. She has continued to contribute, and now having cancer, she still continues to persevere, push through, and support the Coast Guard in the nation, and I am just ecstatic and honored to be here today. Thank you very much.
Over their 9 years together, Canine Sonia and Chief Grant have performed over 5,000 hours of explosives detection work and executed over 8,500 vehicle sweeps for the Washington State ferries. They also supported local law enforcement agencies responding to bomb threats on 25 separate occasions. Even with her cancer diagnosis, Sonia continues to serve the Coast Guard as the first ever canine recruiter. We are so very proud to award Canine Sonia with the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal No. 7. Congratulations, Sonia, for your distinguished service with the United States Coast Guard.
Please welcome Canine Sonia and Chief James Grant from the United States Coast Guard and Congressman Mark Veazey, Canine Sonia and Chief Grant's representative in Texas, who will say a few words and present the medal.
Good evening. How are y'all doing? Good, good. Well, it is wonderful to be with you. I'm Mark Veazey, Congressman for the 33rd Congressional District. To kind of give you some geography on where that is, I represent Dallas and Fort Worth and the surrounding areas, and it's great to be with you today. And thank you to Chief James Grant. That was a great video, and I just really want to applaud you and Sonia for the work that y'all do to keep our country safe. Thank you very much. And I'm pleased to be here to honor some of the incredible animals who support U.S. military personnel. Sonia, a retired explosive dog, lives in the North Texas area that I represent, where she has made history as the first ever canine recruiter for the Coast Guard. She's obviously lived a very heroic life, as you can tell from the video, and she's protected service members, presidents, foreign dignitaries, and so many others from the public, and has responded to over 25 real bomb threats throughout her service. And as we heard in the video, Sonia was diagnosed with cancer that required urgent care. And at the end of last year, she received that care, and it led to the removal of 4 cancerous lymphs from around her neck. And so I'm grateful that her surgery was successful and that she is here with us today. And I'm also happy to be an original co-sponsor of the resolution that is introduced by my colleagues, that we introduced in a bipartisan fashion, Congressman Gus Bilirakis and Representative Julia Brownley from California, which recognizes animals and handlers like Sonia and Chief Grant, who exemplify bravery, selflessness, and dedication in times of war and peace. And with that, it is my honor to present the Animals in War and Peace Distinguished Service Medal to, yes, absolutely. Hear, hear. To Canine Sonia, a dog who truly embodies all good qualities that this award recognizes. Thank you.
Come on. Awesome. Woo! You can go there. You can go there. Thank you, Congressman Veazey, for being here tonight and supporting the resolution. That's wonderful.
My little boy just fell asleep.
Aw.
All right, Zach, you'll see this when you wake up. All right, good evening, Mr. Robin, members of Congress, and Captain Keffer from Coast Guard Recruiting Command, and distinguished guests. I want to thank you all for coming out here tonight and taking time out of your lives to see this greatness. I am deeply honored to stand before you tonight to accept this Distinguished Service Medal on behalf of Canine Sonia, and I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the Coast Guard for their unwavering support over the past 9 years of always putting canines first. I want to express my sincere appreciation to the Coast Guard Recruiting Command for their innovative approach in allowing Canine Sonia to transition into a groundbreaking role for the first canine recruiter. This transition has not only provided Sonia with a sense of normalcy, but has also been instrumental in ensuring her well-being as she graciously moved from her operational exposure detection into canine recruiting. What that means is once we go from operations, these dogs go with us from day to day. They jump in the car with us. They're used to that normal rhythm. And once that's over with, the dogs don't really have anything to look forward to. So by being able to bring her into Coast Guard Recruiting Command, I don't have a fancy government vehicle anymore with lights and sirens and all that, but I have a nice truck that I have now that I could throw Sonia in, and she goes to work with me, and that's what keeps her going. Back in October, the serocoma came back, and she was not really responding much, not eating, not wanting to get up, and I was able to rush her to urgent care, and Sonia got enrolled into a nonprofit organization called Project Canine Hero. Not sure if you handlers have heard of that, but it's a nonprofit that will take over medical expenses. You apply for it, and right then and there, they took over several more masses, about $20,000 worth of procedures within a matter of minutes. They paid for and covered, and here she is today, 4 or 5 months after, not really missing a beat. I'm grateful for Lieutenant Diener in the back, my last supervisor, that helped make this happen today to get me to where I am at in Coast Guard Recruiting and Canine Sonia. Gentleman in the back too, wherever he is, Christopher Hartman. He's in some of the pictures here. He was a mentor to me throughout the years, and he was the reason why I actually continued to push through and become a canine handler. There's 18 in the service. They say you're better off winning the lottery than being selected as a canine handler in the Coast Guard. But he motivated me to not give up, and after 7 years, I made it. Finally, I want to extend my deepest gratitude to my wife and children, Heather Grant, Violet and Ivy, one of the glitter sparkle dresses, and Zachary, just like the red hair on me, sleeping, for their unwavering support throughout my countless deployments and missed holidays. Their love and care for Sonia has been invaluable, and I'm forever grateful for their sacrifice and patience. Sonia, though a sweet old lady today, has had her moments. From new rugs being needing to be purchased over, and altered vacations, she has always been a constant in our lives, whether it was traveling cross country for new duty stations or family vacations. We wouldn't change a thing except for that one rug. Thank you all for this incredible honor. Sonia's journey is a testament to the dedication and teamwork of all involved. Together we continue to serve with pride and commitment. Once again, thank you, Ms. Robin, for this extraordinary opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, James, and thank you so much, Sonia, for being here. That's just wonderful, and we're just very, very grateful to have her. Kristen, if you can go back to slide 24. There's some people I want to recognize and thank here tonight. So once again, during this time of year, next Wednesday, March 13th, is Canine Veterans Day. And it's a national way to really honor all of these canine veterans that we're honoring tonight. And it's really, really something special. So we always try to celebrate that day and this ceremony always at that time of year. It was March 13th, 1942, during World War II, when the first canine team was put together, Dogs for Defense. And it marked the first of the Armed Services Canine Program. So next Wednesday, we're very honored to be here to celebrate them next Wednesday as well. In honor of Canine Veterans Day, I'd like to recognize 2 of the past recipient dog handlers who are with us tonight. And fellows, please stand up when I call your name because I want you to be recognized. From 2022 ceremony, we have Marshall Merarkey with Canine Hurricane for Distinguished Service Medal number 1. And from our 2023 ceremony, Travis Harrison for K9K got Medal of Bravery number 15. Thank you both for being there, and happy Canine Veterans Day. I'd like to now introduce our other co-host for the evening, Chuck Rottenberry. He's the Vice President of U.S. War Dogs Association. Chuck retired after 14 years of faithful service in the Marine Corps. Yes, indeed, and nearly served in every facet of the working dog program community, from canine handler, trainer, to instructor. Thank you for being here tonight. This is wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. Thank you, Robin. Ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor to be here with all these canine teams and their families that support this unimaginable and often difficult mission. Again, my name is Chuck Rotenberry. It was my pleasure to serve my entire time in the Marine Corps to serve the military working dog community. I'm grateful to continue to do that with the U.S. Working Dogs, or U.S. War Dog Association. Around 2000, late 90s, five Vietnam dog handlers representing 3 different branches of service got together in a reunion. Much like this today, they're bonded by what they share with their canine partners, the honor that they have among them, and the mission that they all supported. In that meeting, they got back together and they decided, hey, we need to recognize these dogs. We need to honor these dogs. How can we do that? Let's see if we can get some money and raise funds to build a statue to do that. Honor these military working dogs. Vietnam dogs didn't get a lot of recognition. 2000, these gentlemen came together and formed what we now know as what we now know as U.S. War Dog Association. Shortly thereafter, September 11th came along, and their mission changed. They now had to support the next generation of military working dog teams going forward, deploying areas Iraq, Afghanistan, and other places throughout the world. They decided to help us out. We were on the receiving end of care packages, anything from specialized gear, equipment, to just little touches of home, things that kind of brought us back to reality from the environments that we were in. These 5 members have never met each other until this reunion. They didn't know each other, but they had that common bond like you see with these handlers here and their families and the dogs that they're with them. In 2006, they realized their mission was growing and far beyond that of just care packages. They developed what was basically a practical support of it throughout their lifetime for the military working dogs and their handlers. These dogs, their mission, their sacrifice is endless. It's unknown, and we're the only ones that limit them in their capabilities. So it's upon us to help support them throughout their entire life cycle. And that's exactly what War Dogs does. Be it care packages, specialized equipment. We've just sent over 30,000 care packages throughout our lifetime. As a matter of fact, this past winter, just a little bit over 200 care packages went out to teams still forward deployed in need of specialized gear and equipment. Our medical programs, a prescription program, we currently have about 1,000 dogs that we're supporting, saving families and those veterans more than $1.5 million in veterinary costs. Emergency surgeries, we're able to save veterans and their families that financial burden, over $700,000. Just in this current year, we're up to about $25,000 in supporting those dogs, maintaining that life in retirement. We honored their service in retirement with service medals. Our founders believed it was important to take care of the dogs and their health and welfare. Their dogs, their service dogs, their working dogs didn't receive that at the end of their service. So we make sure we do that. And that's where we step in through our partner with Red Bank Veterinary Hospital and continue to serve these dogs in their retirement. It's my honor to be part of this organization and to see these dogs now sleeping quietly after they've gotten to know one another a little bit. And to serve as U.S. War Dogs Vice President. And I cannot thank you all enough, the families and friends that are here, Miss Robin, and the Animals in War and Peace for giving you guys the opportunity to be recognized for the sacrifices that you've made. And given this year's recipients, I'll end my talk with Canine Leads the Way. Thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Okay, now I just need to thank a number of people who were with us tonight that made this event happen. This is the 4th year in a row that Linda Blick from Tales of Hope Foundation has been a tremendous source of strength, encouragement, and ideas as a board member in the planning of this event. Gold sponsor Timothy T. Day Foundation supports organizations and activities that support the Marines and the U.S. Marine Corps. And through Lulu's Fund, they help animal welfare organizations that provide care for abused animals and abandoned dogs. They have generously supported the Reckless Monuments and all of our ceremonies in the past, as has Gary and Mary West in California. We're very fortunate to have their strong support over the years. I'd like to thank returning silver sponsors, MedVet, who joined us for the 3rd year in a row. MedVet is a leading veterinarian-owned group of specialty and emergency hospitals, and actually MedVet is giving Sonia her treatments, which is just amazing. This is also the 3rd year in a row that Lee and Ramona Bass, Deborah Sergisgetter, and Martha and Stephen Peterson from the Peterson Family Foundation have supported this noble effort. And Three Pearls Charities is here for the 2nd time. This year, we also have a few new sponsors. Bronze sponsors Canine Hurricanes Heroes, a federally recognized nonprofit organization that provides retired law enforcement and military dogs with subsidized veterinary care so they can live a long and healthy life. National Assessment, a company that does strategic human resource consulting. Thank you for being here, Dale. Omaha Equestrian Foundation that showcases the transformative power of horses through therapeutic and other programs. And Marine Corps League Detachment 1062. Thank you, Wayne. Hoorah. And most of them are here tonight to help us celebrate. We also have a new gold sponsor here, Hydrolonics, and I don't know if I said that right, but Hydronolix, I think it's right. Hydronolix is a small high-tech company specializing in extreme performance, small unmanned vehicles for both water and air. In fact, one of their unmanned vehicles is this really cool banner over here, named after Sergeant Reckless, which is really I just think it's so cool, and it can carry over 500 pounds. So I'd like to ask Tony Mulligan to come up here, the CEO and president of Hydrolonics, and say a few words.
Wow, it's a great honor to be with people who do such important things for our society. And Robin, awesome job, you and your team. I'm overwhelmed. I haven't attended this before, but there's a point I want to share with all of you why we're here and why we're getting involved and why we hope to increase our involvement and support more of this type of thing. Our story basically starts back in 1958. So what happens then, the Marine Corps, the Marine buys a racehorse, one of the fastest horses. It's during the Korean War. And what do they do with this racehorse? They take it and they teach it to be a pack horse. And they teach it to carry a lot of stuff. And while Sergeant Reckless was very affectionate with many of her troops, she'd drink their beers and eat their chips and do all those kinds of things. She was basically, when her moment where she was called and she answered, she went up and down the hill. It didn't matter how many mortar rounds were going off. Didn't matter that she got wounded, her handler was gone, and she'd get upset at you if you didn't load her right away. So go fast forward 60 years, we developed for the Marines a new general purpose platform that actually was the first attempt of making a small robotic boat to go very fast. So basically, in the unmanned surface vehicle world, a race one. And so we start experimenting with the Marines that are using this thing. And what do? They load it up with Hellfire missiles, ammo rounds, and they put like 500 pounds on it when we told them it's good for 40. And and then they program it, and it became apparent over the following months and training periods that they could see that robots will just keep on doing the mission no matter what. And they approached me and said, "Hey, we want to start calling this thing Reckless." And I was like, "Well, what is Reckless? That doesn't really sound like a good brand marketing name. Our thing is Reckless." And but then they told me the story. They showed me the videos. They got me one of Robin's books, and I thought about it, and I was like, "Wow, this makes a lot of sense." And I had to battle with Navy leadership for a bit because the Admiral wasn't very excited about calling his funded project Reckless. But it's turned into quite a thing, and Recklesses are going out to the Philippines. They're all over dealing with the problems in Europe. And what I wanted to point out is Now, if you come and visit our company and meet our staff, there is a very, very strong presence about Reckless. And they're like, hey, we want to stick up to, honor her name and what she did. And, our engineers, our technicians, our scientists, they work very hard all the time to improve Reckless. And they all know the story, and they all follow that inspiration. And so what I wanted to share with you guys is Reckless was 66 years ago. When she was doing her thing. And now, later, she's becoming a major inspiration for a group of people to make a big difference and do things. And these beautiful animals that we saw today, many of us may not be alive when we see the full effect of what these very particular specific animals have done for humankind, and for our planet. And so it's super important that we recognize these great animals, their heroism, their dedication, their love, their passion, and because we're going to get more. There's going to come a whole lot more out of these animals that we saw today. So thank all of you who respect and cherish and honor and support, and we'll try to too. Thank you all.
Hoorah, Reckless. Okay, thank you so much. Lastly, I need to thank our Animals and War and Peace nominating and advisory boards for their guidance, support, thoughtful selection given to these medalists here tonight. Many of them are with us tonight. We have, of course, Mary Lou Livingood, Jocelyn Russell, who was handing out the medals, Rich Vargas, Jay Koisman, Linda Blick, Dave Contney, and Kristen Douglas Seitz. If you guys could stand up real quick, I'd love to give you a hand because you are just amazing, absolutely amazing. This event would not happen without their strong support, wisdom, and guidance, and I'd like to thank them so much for everything this year. It's just been incredible. I need to give a shout out to those who could not make it, but are watching on the live streams that we're doing tonight. Karen Storms, Donna Fleece, Frank Blazich, Chris Willingham, and Ron Aiello. You are missed, you guys, but we know we'll see you next year. I just want to say I am overwhelmed with all of the love, pride, and emotion that filled this room tonight. I know there was not a dry eye in the place with all of these stories. I mean, they're just so amazing. You truly blessed us here tonight with your presence, and we are so grateful for your sacrifice and service to your country. Can we give a round of applause to these wonderful heroes, please? I'll just make a few announcements before we conclude. The nomination period for our next set of heroes is now open until August 31st. If you know of any that might fit the bill, please go to our website at animalsandpeace.org and check out what we have, and hopefully we'll get some amazing heroes again. We're also looking at possibly doing another award in the spring, so you can also see some of those updates that we'll be adding at that time. We were going to have a blessing of the animals, but the chaplain had to leave. So all I can say is thank you all for coming. I want to say, handlers and dogs, please stay up. We're going to get up here and get pictures with your medals and all of that. We have a party at the Holiday Inn National Mall that you're all invited to, so we can celebrate everybody. And thanks again for coming, and we will see you next year. Thank you.
When I first saw Axe, we got him from our distributor. I wanted to be a canine handler my whole career, and when I saw him, he was perfect. I couldn't ask for anything else. He was, full of energy like he still is, He was green, didn't have anything, any training or anything, but me and him got along really well right off the bat. So I couldn't have been any happier having a canine partner like Axe.
And is he your first dog?
Axe is my first canine partner. We got teamed together at the end of 2019, and we've been there ever since.
So you guys were all in the news not too long ago. And so what was that day like for him and you?
That day was very hectic and very scary, and so many emotions. I was a handler for about 6 months prior to that. Nothing crazy happened, and I thought it was another call, and we were still new, and I was still trying to figure things out. We went in. Our helicopter could see the bad guy. He went in there, and then we heard the gunshots, and my instincts kicked in, I guess, just to get him help. That was my biggest thing, is just to get him help.
So, did that surprise you?
The dog's reaction, I didn't know how he would react. You never know. That's kind of a rare situation. As soon as I pulled him back and got him to me, I just wanted to rush him out. And it wasn't until later I was like, well, I really want to see how he did or what he did, because it was dark and I couldn't see. After we got the helicopter FLIR video and where he apprehended the suspect and was on the suspect, I would have been proud no matter what he did, but I was very proud that he fought, and the only reason he came off is because with every bit of strength I had, I pulled him off of the guy. So I was very happy and proud.
How proud are you to have that dog receive this, or that canine officer receive this award?
I couldn't be any prouder. He deserves everything. He makes me look better than I am. We are a team, but he puts in a lot of the hard work, and there's a lot of canines in the country that deserve it just as much. We all kind of feel that way when it's our own. We're so proud and thankful that there's people that recognize his hard work and everything that he's done. And I mean, he's like anyone else. He feels the pain and has to work hard.
And what are your fellow officers where you're based? What do they think about this award and this dog?
A lot of them, the canine unit's very proud. We have a top-notch canine unit, and I'm not saying it because I'm on it. I'm saying it because that's why I wanted to be on it. So to be able to be with those guys and the trainers and the stuff we have, they're top-notch guys. I mean, they really know their stuff. So for them to be proud of how I handled it, how he handled it, and how he still goes today and still works, it makes me proud for sure, because I've earned their respect, and that's all I've ever wanted getting on the unit.
And what's his favorite treat?
His Kong. Food, he likes food, but his Kong, he will do anything for the Kong. He just wants his Kong, and he'll sit there for hours and hours and just chew on it. So treat, Kong, he'd take that over food. You could have a pile of food, he takes the Kong every time.
I still am kind of scratching myself. I just can't believe that she's got picked for it. You never think about all the work that your partner does, and just to get this recognition for her is just pretty amazing. The first recognition she got, so she won the American Humane Hero Dog of the Year for law enforcement in 2020. But I've had Cody since she was 5, and she's going on 13 now. And when I picked her, we just kind of hit the ground running and have been going hard ever since. Before I got a hold of her, she did 2 years in Iraq at the U.S. Embassy. Then she was out in Minnesota working for the Minnesota Vikings and the Mall of America. And we've done everything from NBA games, NFL games. We even did a Taylor Swift concert once, which was, that's a handful. But the big work we've been doing recently is we're working in public schools looking for firearms. And we've been doing that for about 4 years now.
So you'll need to get her some sparkles.
I tell you, the Swifties are a whole different level. I did get a couple pictures of her backstage. That was probably the roughest experience for her. Iraq doesn't really hold a candle to the Taylor Swift fans. So
you've had her since she was young, and what was your first impression of her?
She really showed me how to do it. I've learned a lot from her. She was pretty much just, a push-button dog from the moment I got her. She had already been trained and been doing the job for a while, and so I kind of just, I call myself the dumb end of the leash. I just kind of let her do her thing, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, it's over here. Hey, Dad, this is what you need to be doing." And I just kind of patterned sort of my new partner that I have, because she's starting to slow down a little bit. So I've got a new partner, which she's not a big fan of. But I've just kind of modeled the way that she works to train my new dog to do the same thing.
Is she your first?
She's my second. So, yep.
What special qualities, what's special about her as a dog?
For me, she's not your typical canine. She's so social and so friendly and so gentle. Everybody, they hear the word canine, they automatically assume, snarling, barking, growling, your typical police canine, but she's just such a gentle giant. I mean, she's just so friendly. She's so social. She loves people. I'm not a fan of people, so it's good that she is. But I mean, she's just a great partner. I mean, she's just so gentle with, like when we work in the schools, she's so gentle with the kids there. She's just a phenomenal partner to have.
Have you been having fun here? Did she get to go up to the Capitol?
We have gone, did our mandatory pictures that we had to do, because the most important part of Canine is the cool pictures we take with our dogs, So we did get quite a few pictures. But yeah, and I still let her work. She works part-time with me still. I got to keep her out. She lives to work. She's got that drive to work, so.
What's her special trait?
Her special what? Trait? I would say just her personality. I mean, you look at her and you think, wow, she looks pretty intense, but she's just so friendly, just so social. It's just a real people person. She's a big baby.
And so she's an explosive specialist?
She's trained for single-purpose explosives detection and firearms detection.
And is that particularly tough, or she excel at that? Or
she does phenomenal at it. So she's also trained for what we call mobile odor detection. So that's for an odor that's on someone. So if somebody's trying to sneak a firearm or explosives into an event, she can actually detect it out of a crowd on somebody as they're walking around. So so we do. That's one of the things we do at the schools. Is we're there in case somebody's trying to sneak a firearm into the schools, and she's able to locate that odor on an individual as they try to get into the schools.
What's the funniest thing she's ever done?
So I got her a pair of boots one time. We were working at an event out in Chicago. There's a lot of snow and ice on the ground, so I had to get her conditioned to wear the boots. It was probably the funniest thing I've ever seen, because she's trying to kick her legs to kick the boots off, and kicking like a horse, trying to kick her back legs, and she was not happy with me on that. But that, and then she loves the water. Sometimes I'll work her off leash, and there was a big fountain out in front of this place where we were working, and she looked at the water fountain, and she looked back at me, and I was like, "Don't you do it!" And she just ran right into the water fountain. She's supposed to be this super highly trained canine, but she likes to have fun too sometimes. So yeah, she's just a good girl all around.
What's her favorite treat?
Her favorite treat, I would say her favorite treat's her ball. Ball is life for her. She likes that even more than food. So anything to do with a ball, it's all over. She dies for that ball. So.
And what do you want people to know about her? If they met her and what would you want them to remember about her?
I would say she's so selfless. Like all these canines, they give so much of themselves, and the only thing they ask for in return is just our attention and affection. I think the service that they provide is just so underrated and so underappreciated. I don't think people realize the amount of hard work and the amount of work, or just the work in general, that these dogs are capable of doing for us.
He was a Belgian Malinois, came from Slovakia, and we worked together for 10 years and had a lot of success out of the gate, and ended up going through some pretty traumatic stuff together.
What does it mean to you to have him honored so much this way?
Oh, this is unbelievable. When they first told me he was even nominated, I couldn't believe it. It's just honestly an honor, and I want him to get the recognition he deserves, because without him, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you today.
And what was it that made him so special?
He just had the mentality of him and I against the world. So, he was just a great partner. I was lucky.
And what did you think of him when you first met him?
He actually looked kind of mangy when I first got him. So I was supposed to get this other dog that was this beautiful black shepherd, and then they brought Kit out, and he was kind of mangy at the time, and I was like, "Oh, this is your dog," and I was like, "Oh, you got to be kidding me! I'm getting this dog," but he turned into a machine. So again, I'm lucky.
What are some of the most special things that he did?
Honestly, it wasn't work stuff. It was spending time with me at home with me and my children. So that was better than the work stuff. Work stuff was great, but the personal time was even better.
What did he do that amused you the most?
Listen to me vent and talk nonsense when we were together every day in the car. I used to just vent to him, and he would be nodding his head like he was listening to what I was talking to. So those were the good times.
What do you want people to remember about this dog and about his bravery?
That he saved officers' lives, not only my life, but people with me that day on June 4th, 2021, and previous days, and an instance that we had before.
Did it surprise you that he showed that bravery?
Absolutely not. And you'll hear the story when we go in there. Without him, the suspect was lying in an ambush position, and we would have pretty much walked right over the suspect if Kit didn't locate him.
What is it about dogs that make them so special in this kind of work?
They don't say no. Humans have bad days and sick days. Dogs could be sick and they're not going to say no to you. Humans won't want to go into a dark building. The dog's not going to say no. Tell him what to do and he's going to do it.
I've been trying to put this into words because I know I have to speak in front of everybody. And we did it in December because we didn't think Bane was going to be here. So we gave him a temporary medal in front of the media, in front of my police department, the citizens, and I cried then. And because I didn't think he had it in him to make this journey. But we loaded up yesterday morning at like 3 a.m, drove 12 hours. We're here to honor my boy and the service that he's given to the community. Saved my life, saved the guys that I work with, saved their lives before. It's an incredible honor to be here.
What is it that makes him stand out so much as a police dog?
So what I've said throughout this whole journey, my whole career, is Bane is no better than any of the other dogs that are here. He's no better than the dogs that I've worked with, been privileged to work with on the street. I think it's just my ability to promote him, my ability to highlight him, and show how important our working dogs are to our communities and the survival of our police officers and our military. They bring such an element to how we operate, and they keep us safe every day. And I think by highlighting that with Bane, it's kind of what has made him stand out. He is a fantastic dog. He's got a hell of a nose, and has done a great job on the streets. But it just goes to show that it's the work and the training that goes into him that any canine is capable of.
What's a funny memory of him?
So I actually told this one in front of our state legislature when we were working to get some laws passed. We brought Bane to the Capitol in Madison. I was on a traffic stop for another jurisdiction, and Bane is trained to find narcotics, so opiates, methamphetamines, marijuana, and we got called out on third shift to do a mutual aid. And we train our dogs not to eat other things that they find while they're doing searches for things. And he gets in this car and he alerts on the car. And so he gets in the car and he starts, I see him, I'm like watching him through the window and I can see his head going like this. Well, the guy had bought a cinnamon, one of those really like fattening, like icing on those cinnamon rolls from like the honey buns or whatever. And he was eating this guy's honey bun. But he had already found the drug, so at first I thought he was eating the drug, like I didn't know what he was eating. So I yell at him and he turns around and looks at me through the window and he's got this guy's honey bun like sticking out of his mouth. And I yelled at him to oust it in German, to drop it, and he spit it out and left it there. So I reached in and I grabbed it, I looked at the guy, I said, sorry, my dog ate your honey bun, and I put it on top of the car. Well, it turned out there was meth in the car as well. So I monitored him for a couple hours to make sure he didn't actually eat any meth either, but that was the first and only time, and it was like this gross, like 99-cent honey bun from the gas station, and he ate it.
So is that his new favorite treat, or what is his favorite treat?
Anything that's edible. I mean, except for the healthy stuff. He won't eat fruits and veggies, but he'll eat anything sugary or whatever. Bane gets, he's retired and he's 12 and a half, so he pretty much gets whatever's on the menu.
Has he ever forgiven you?
No, he's a grumpy old man. So he's always been a grumpy old man. You'd think that was just because he's retired, but he's always been grumpy. In fact, I called him butthead all the time. Like, he just snarks at you. He's snarking at everybody in the room.
So, where are you stationed?
I'm currently stationed as a recruiting in charge for recruiting office Dallas, out of Dallas, Texas.
So, tell me a little bit about Sonia.
So Sonia is a 11-and-a-half-year-old Belgian Malinois, came from the Netherlands, and was sent to Lackland Air Force Base to be part of the TSA program. And from there, the Coast Guard has capabilities to go to that school to become canine handlers. So we started our career back in Lackland Air Force Base, and then from there we went to Seattle, Washington, conducted law enforcement operations around the waterways of Puget Sound, and then went down to San Diego for the last 5 years doing counterterrorism training and operations.
And so how do you meet up with the dog? How do you get selected? Somebody put you together, or you select the dog? How does that work?
Yeah, so back in 2014, what they did was they were in a classroom of 30 to 40 people, and the first 2 weeks, the instructors are getting to know us, getting to know a little bit more about who we are, what kind of personalities we have, what kind of energy levels we put off, and then they have about 80 to 90 dogs that they select from, and then they pair us up with the dogs that match who we are and our personalities.
So what was your first impression of Sonia?
She was psycho. She was neurotic. She loved the work. She was driven, motivated, and she was a handful. Just a ball of energy. Super excited to just be working. She's very passionate about her job. She's a hard worker.
So did that kind of meet your own qualities? Do you agree with who they matched?
I think my wife would agree with that for sure. Yeah. But yeah, I love my job. I love what I do. I'm passionate. Give 100% at all times. That's what she does. So.
And how long have you guys been together?
Going on this 2024 will be 10 years. Yes. Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about what she did to earn this great award.
So Canine Sonia has been in service for the past 9.5 years, 3 different units, contributing to ports, waterways, coastal maritime missions around the whole United States. Conducted a number of high visibility events protecting dignitaries, distinguished personnel, presidents. So prior to her retiring from explosive detection, her daily jobs were going to work with me, and we'd train around the ports of San Diego, train and then conduct missions for security and safety operations around the port of San Diego, any type of national disaster or terrorist threat coming in to balance the United States. And from there, she retired from explosive detection, and now she is a recruiting tool that I bring with me to the recruiting office, where she gets to tell her story of what she's done in the Coast Guard, and explain to other kids and individuals that want to come to the Coast Guard that this is an opportunity for them to have if they want it.
There's one thing what do you want people to know about a service dog, about how important they are to what you do?
Yeah, so the most important thing that I would say is about a service dog is that they're a pet, but most importantly, they're a tool. So as long as you understand that at the end of the day, that you need to keep them dialed in, kind of tuned up to do their job, then outside that you can treat them like pets. But if you can't deviate from what their initial primary job is being a tool, and knowing that what they do has protection and saves lives, and that they can handle that successfully, then you can start expanding upon that and creating them more like a pet culture.
And what does this award mean to you?
This award means to me is that it means that my dog is so selfless, and has given herself 120% to the service nonstop. Her devotion and loyalty to the service means a lot to me, knowing that I'm honored to have her on leash with me at all times, knowing that when we're walking in an area to search and make sure people are safe, that they're going to be safe.